Hey, welcome back to the Infamous Podcast. This is Brian.
This is Darryl.
A Rona-ridden Darryl. I don't know. We don't even know if that's true or not. You might be superhuman and be completely immune to it.
Yeah.
You might just be tired because you're old.
Or because I haven't gotten enough sleep.
That is always a case of being tired. I can attest. Welcome to episode 326. In that 10 parsecs or less, I feel alive. Okay, so I watched the 5th episode of Book of Boba Fett, and we're going to talk about it. Or let me rephrase that. I watched the first episode of The Mandalorian Season 3, and we're going to talk about it. We also got Supes and Lolo, and then we got some DC Comics news. We got a short one today. So first, D, how you doing, buddy?
Not too bad. It's been snowing all day today here. I don't know how much you got up there.
We have a bunch, and I ventured out in it twice now.
We've been just watching trucks get stuck.
Yeah,
and take 5 and 10 minutes to get unstuck. So that's been our entertainment today when I wasn't working.
We weren't
watching Walking Dead.
I was very excited to use the X snow feature in the Subaru. So, and I didn't even have to use the deep snow feature yet. I'm waiting for that one. But yeah, I have no worries. I've got 9.5 inches of ground clearance in the Forester. It's good to go. Symmetrical all-wheel drive. You can turn on the slippage, turn off the slippage, whatever. I mean, it's the ultimate snow vehicle, and I'm super excited to have it. And I've been driving 60 down the road in it. I did pull out of the neighborhood. You know how I have the back alley there. I pulled out, and I did kind of like drift a little, which was pretty awesome. And Haley was like, "What are you doing?" It's like, I'm doing what you're supposed to do in the snow. If you drift, you turn into it. Or away from
living your life 10 parsecs at a time.
I 100% was living my life 10 parsecs at a time right there. But yeah, no, things are good. I don't know. It's just been a busy. It's been a weird week, right? Because I'm waiting for some news on Tuesday, and it's just dragging out, and it's like, let's just jump to next Tuesday already. So,
is it Tuesday yet? Because that's when Supes and Lolo comes out.
It is Tuesday, and you know what that means. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to Rampage tonight. Maybe get some more Hook. Send Hook. I'm all in on Hook.
I haven't finished the Dynamite yet.
Oh, dude.
I am at the CM Punk MJF conversation.
Okay, so I'm just gonna tell you right now. There's a guy that shows up in the Adam Cole Orange Cassidy match, and his name
won't know who it is.
His name is Danhausen. That's all you need to know. After you watch the match, go look Danhausen up. You will thank me for
that
it.
name. That name sounds familiar.
Yeah, I mean, he's a wrestler. He's awesome. He's super awesome. But he's all elite now. So it's very, very, very exciting. Anyway, let's hop right into the DC news. So Daniel Cherry III, which we did not talk about this, was a little bitch, bailed on DC after 16 months to go work for Kanye West. Kanye, word of advice, just fire him now. He's worth this. Oh, also, before we get this, get going. I'm drinking death water or liquid death for the first time. Have you ever had that?
What is that?
It's water. It's
I've
just
never
water.
heard of
It's
it.
water in a can. It says liquid death, mountain water, drinking water from the Alps. And I don't know. I was at Whole Foods picking up my bison because I don't have elk. And it's really good. I mean, it's just really good water. It's super fresh.
Okay.
Anyway, this is not sponsored by them. If anything, if the people at C4 decided to listen to this after the post I did on Instagram, please sponsor us. Darryl and I both work out like crazy, and like C4 Energy stuff is freaking awesome. So that's not a sponsored post either, but like they have Starburst flavored C4 now, and it's so good. I may have bought 2 cases of it. And I don't even drink it every day. I'm drinking like one a week, because that keeps me up for about that long. Anyway, all right, back to the DC story. Daniel Cherry III left after 16 months as general manager and kind of the senior vice president of like marketing and promotions and franchising and stuff like that. Left to go work for Kanye. And, essentially there's a lot of like, don't let the door hit you where the good Lord split you to that dude. He came from outside of comics. He didn't understand comics. He really didn't understand how to market comics. And, I think in the long run, he's going to be a scapegoat for a lot of just the badness at DC, even though he has nothing to do with the creative direction or publishing of the comics or editorial.
Yeah. And so, again, I knew about him, but that's my question was, like, it's not that he has a major role in the creative direction of, again, this stuff that's been going on at DC and at Marvel has been going on for years, not 16 months, but it seems like it's gotten worse. And the one thing I wasn't sure of is how big of an impact did he have in helping continue that on. And conversely, I know a lot of people are talking about, let's say, Anne DePies. Is that how you say it?
DePies, yeah.
DePies, tomato.
Yeah.
But I know some of the things because I believe I watched a video with Thinking Critical was mentioning.
Yeah, I sent you the Thinking Critical ones to watch.
Yeah, that's yeah. And he was mentioning, how this could be a boon for DC. Well, again, it's not necessarily the marketing, and because there were some things I did read because I think Bleeding Cool, the article was mentioning some of the things, but as far as the creative decision making, you still have Jim Lee up there who has done nothing to rein these stories in.
So just so everybody, for people who don't know, right? Jim Lee is now the publisher and chief creative officer of DC Comics. He's the one who's supposed to be in charge of setting the direction for then the editor-in-chief, whose name just legitimately jumped out of my head, and the group editors to follow. And that includes things like continuity and, events and whatnot. So Anne's role is not going to have anything to do with that. Now, the interesting thing, and Wes pointed this out, and I noticed it when I read the press release myself, is that they have her listed as partnering with, not working for, not working under, but partnering with Wenda Pets. You don't get that because you don't have kids. Anyway, they all talk with lisps. Anyway, partnering with Jim Lee, who is, again, the publisher and the chief creative officer. Now, here's the thing. Jim Lee is a fantastic artist. Fantastic. One of the best of all time for comics. One of the best. He is the exact wrong person to be the publisher and chief creative officer of DC Comics. And I just want to call back to episode 151, which it was with you and it was me and your predecessor. And I walked around for a couple weeks with a notebook, just thinking about how to get DC back to its new 50 PU or PU 52, whatever you want to call it. How to get that back to what it should have been. Like I went like full on like Patton Oswalt in Parks and Rec with the fan fiction
filibuster.
Exactly. It was 100% a filibuster. But to get more back, or just to figure out how to get back to what it should be. And it's funny because at the time, Jeff Johns had stepped down as the chief creative officer at the time to go work for Warner Brothers Television. And Diane Nelson, who was then president of Warner Brothers or of DC Entertainment, was leaving Warner Brothers altogether when that episode came out, which was all the way back in June of 2018. I can't believe it's been that long.
Wow.
Yeah, right? I mean, I did this forever ago. And I went back and re-listened to it. I'm actually going to recut it because I'm going to cut your predecessor out because he didn't really add a whole lot and just do my parts. But it was, you know, it's a lot of things that need to happen. Now, Wes did a second video about the 5 things that they need to do. And one of his was to, you know, bring back like actual like powerhouse writers, powerhouse editors, powerhouse artists that have not been at DC for a while. And his last one was to make Jeff Johns the chief creative officer again. Now, I think there's been a lot of stuff going on with Jeff Johns around the Justice League stuff. So I don't know if that's going to happen. Honestly, I would put Chuck Dixon in charge of being the chief creative officer because of what he did in the 90s and 2000s for Batman, the Bat Family, and the, you know, the rest of the ancillary books that had to deal with that. Now, Anne, just to be clear, she's in charge of marketing, global franchising, you know, the commitment to the direct market comic book retailers, which is your local comic shop. She's not going to be the person who's working with the editorial decisions. She's not going to be the person who's saying like, well, hold on, let's not make Superman's kid gay. Let's not kill the Justice League. Let's not just only have Teen Lantern. Like, where the fuck is Kyle Rayner? Because he's the best Green Lantern. I mean, that's widely known. Anyway, so yeah, this is really, really interesting to think about because this is so someone left who wasn't doing a very good job. She's been in comics for a really long time. I think she'll do fine in her role as long as people are not expecting her to come in and be like, "Hey, we're going to shake things up."
Right. And yeah, and that was my biggest, I won't say issue, but like question with this is I don't think her role, and this is again before, you know, talking with you and this, when I first read this, I said, I mean, is she going to affect the creative decisions making? And if not, then okay, this might be a boon for DC in the sense of, you know, global outreach and stuff, but at the same time, that's not going to change much considering the direction and the decisions they've made from a narrative and storytelling standpoint.
Right.
You'd have to, you know, to really take advantage of someone like this who seems, you know, she's been in the comic book industry for 20 years or however long. She knows the industry. To take advantage of something like this, you have to have a good product. And right now, most of DC and most of Marvel, and again, there are outliers. There's stuff like Robin. There's things like Nightwing and others that are absolutely exceptional for the most part. You know, the direction they're going creatively. I mean, you can have the best salesman, the less, you know, global representative in the world. People aren't going to be buying it. So, and that's the biggest issue.
I'm going to make one minor correction there. Like most of DC is bad. There's some good stuff. All of Marvel is bad right now. There's nothing good at Marvel. So here's what I want to see from her, because otherwise this is a giant nothing burger and we don't talk about nothing burgers. But one of the big things is the international and digital expansion. So, Anne, if for somehow my voice has made it to your ears and it's at the 13-minute or almost 14-minute mark of this episode, please put digital codes in the back of every book like Marvel does. Please. That will expand the whole digital footprint. It will get people on to, you know, Comixology, or actually the DC app shut down. So onto Comixology or whatever the next platform is, DC, whatever, Comixology Unlimited, things like that. It will get people to get on there. And I guarantee as people pick up new books, and Comixology does a great job of this, of advertising like old classic titles that you can buy the trades of, people will buy them. People will dig deeper into the DC lore. New people will go on and be like, wait, hold on, what's Rebirth? Wait, what's Flash Rebirth? What's Green Lantern Rebirth? Let me read these and just get hooked. Like, hopefully people will read the Legion of Superheroes, the older Legion of Superheroes books, and we'll get a Legion of Superheroes book again. which would be fantastic, like a good one, not like what Brian Michael Bendis has done. And also, Anne, if you're listening at the now almost 15-minute mark, if you have the power to fire Brian Michael Bendis, please do so. Please. And thank you. Just if you do it, just tweet at me. It's at Brian Tudor. It's really easy to find me. Just let me know your favorite flowers. You will get 24 of them sent to your office. Anyway.
So wait, how long has Marvel been doing that and DC is not doing that?
Marvel's been doing it for years. DC did it for like a minute, but it was only in like the $4.99 books. So it was like, oh, okay, I see. You know, well, I'm not buying $4.99 books. I'm buying the. You drew the line at $2.99, DC. That's where I'm stuck. Anyway, it's just, yeah, it's just something Marvel does, which is great. And you know, I mean, I get the Marvel books, I take the codes out, I bag them, I load them on my iPad, and then read them at my leisure from wherever. Because I'll tell you right now, I buy Nightwing in hard copy and in digital. And in the case of last week, I also bought one of the variant covers. So they totally saw me coming. But yeah, it's just, I think here's the thing. She's got over a decade where she's worked with Jim Lee. So hopefully she can kind of be that Jiminy Cricket in his ear and be like, leave. Go away. Take this Wacom tablet and draw something pretty.
Yeah, go back to artwork.
I mean, he does art. Like he does great covers, but like he doesn't do anything. He does not do anything to make the product better. He is the LeBron James of DC Comics.
Yeah.
Because LeBron no doubt has skills, right? I hate him. I hate watching him play. I don't like the way he plays, right? But he has skills, and I'm enough to admit that. But he doesn't add anything to the NBA. Now, Jim Lee doesn't actively take things away from the NBA. He's just kind of there. He's just a corporeal form in the Burbank offices of DC Comics, and people are like, hey, Jim, what's going on? He's like, hey, yeah, I drew a kick-ass Batman story with Hush. Hey, I'm the quintessential X-Men artist in the modern age. Anyway, he's no John Byrne. But, yeah, so I don't know. I mean, we've been talking about this for a minute, but I think for me, if Anne can do anything, she will push the envelope on the digital expansion. That right there to me is a win because that gets more people reading comics. And if you can include the digital code in the books, I'll tell you right now, we're going to be giving away a lot of them because I'm going to be buying multiple versions of books to give away the codes on this episode, on this show, because that's like, I'm a DC guy. I'm back to no Marvel books on my pull list.
Like, do you even have many DC?
Yeah,
no, you do have a couple that I had.
DC,
yeah,
so.
Yeah.
But like, I don't even get I'm not even in the Star Wars books. They're so bad. Anyway. But yeah, and good luck in the role. Congratulations on the role. I hope you are super successful and that you help make DC what it was. Anyway, so let's move on to Supes and Lolo. I just like calling it that. We are at we're season 2, episode 3. The Thing in the Mines. Directed by Gregory Smith, written by Kate Aldrin and Juliana James. Came out on January 25th. Just get it out of the way. Out of 5 Bizarre Supermen, what do you?
I give it a 4.
A 4.
4 out of 5. Yeah, 4 out of 5. It had some great stuff. Still had some CW-esque things that, while not bad, don't get me wrong, they weren't bad, and they were relevant to the story of those characters. It just wasn't as interesting to me. So, you know, this show is human, as we mentioned last week, but still, this was they did such a great job, and I'm very happy to be wrong once again with this show, and we'll talk more about that later.
Yeah.
What about you?
I also gave it a 4. But But as I've been going and looking back at everything, I've given all of them a 4. So there's no points of differentiation at this point. No, I really like this episode. I did not like the John storyline at the end of the episode this week. I did like the John storyline at practice and with Clark Kent Geek Dad. And I did really like Jordan's smart mouth when he's like, "Oh, the rage monster's back." So that was pretty funny. But yeah, all in all, this was a good episode. Strong Elizabeth Turlock episode. Great performance by her, playing a very conflicted and hurt Lois Lane.
Yeah. And and again, we talked about this a couple weeks ago with the cult thing, which it does feel like it was the Nexium? What was that thing that the original Chloe was involved in?
Nexium. Alice
Nexium.
and Mac,
okay. Yeah, Alice and Mac. Yeah. So I know we joked about that, and I know this is a way they're deciding to bring Lucy Lane on board and on the show, which is fine. I'm kind of glad we didn't see a lot of Chrissy, or if at all, did we see her? I don't know.
No, we did not see Chrissy because there was so much freaking Kryptonians with freaking laser beams in their eyes shooting them everywhere.
So I did like some of the scenes between Lois and her father. They've had some issues before in last season, but I really like that, and I also like how she had to take charge when Clark went rage monster, where she's just like, "Look, I got it."
Yeah. Dylan Walsh being back was great. Like I thought he did a really good job, like adding to it.
Yeah. Let the man fish. Jeez.
Yeah, just let him have his cigar and fish. I really wish he'd been throwing dynamite while he was fishing, though. That would just been funny. Fish in a barrel. Towns of fish, people of the barrel. Fish in a barrel.
Yeah.
But yeah, no. So then you had John Henry doing his thing, and I gotta say, when he called the steel suit and he put it on, that effect was up there with any effect in Iron Man.
That was pretty. The biggest issue I had with that it's not an issue. I was just laughing. It's how he was running.
Well, I mean, come on. I mean, he's an actor. Let's not pretend like any of them are actually athletic. So,
but as far as that goes, that was pretty badass. I was just kind of disappointed we didn't get the hammer again.
Yeah. So I don't know.
But we did get that Natalie. Natalie's like, look, if you're gonna go out, and I know we're jumping around, and spoilers, by the way, if you don't know this already, but Natalie said, if you're going to be going out in this, we're going to have to fix this.
Right.
So I'm looking forward to seeing.
And then she went through everything that was wrong.
Yeah.
Which was great. And Natalie's worried about her dad. She's like, you can't just be running off like this. This is not okay. This is no bueno. So yeah. And then, so Jordan's story was good. It was a little less CW-y, this week. Sarah wants him back.
I would say
he wanted Sarah back. He gave her his grandma's ring. The whole, I want to marry her. I want to marry her. That you can tell was written by two women who do not know how teenage boys talk or think about that. Because I'll tell you right now, like, no, there's not a teenage boy on this planet who at 15 is like, I want to marry that girl.
No.
Not one.
No. I will say this again. Everything when we usually say CW, it's a negative thing.
Yeah, that's 100% an insult if we say it's a CW thing.
Yeah, I would say this is one of the better aspects of the CW. I would say in the sense of it's still a CW kind of romance, but it wasn't bad. It was just one of those things that you need it for that character, and that's what I was talking about. There are some things that just don't hit me as well, but at the same time, I also understand, hey, it's for the character. And even if I don't necessarily love it, it's necessary for that character development in that point in time. And I think that, absolving or not, like kind of, because this is one of those things where a lot of shows, and I'm not even talking about CW shows, a lot of shows drag things out. And this could be something that they could have dragged out 6, 7, 8, 9 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
It seems like it's resolved after 3 episodes. I think that, whoever she kissed.
Until the girl shows up in Smallville in like episode 14. So,
yeah,
that's going to be like the cliffhanger of this season.
But,
is Sarah.
Yeah. I will say this, though. I thought Natalie was going to be more of a problem with her dad and the way he ran off. And again, a lot of shows would have had her, pitching a hissy fit. But instead, and she had that opportunity when he said, there wasn't enough time to tell you. She could have thrown a fit, and she didn't.
Right.
And at the end of the episode, instead of, saying, you promised me this, what does she do? She says, if you're going to do this, we need to fix this. I greatly appreciated
I really like
how they handled that.
I like Natalie in this episode as a whole. Like, she was a great grounding force for the boys. She kicked John's ass in Madden. So here's the thing. Here's my question. Can John hook up with Natalie? I mean, like, they have the same mom. I mean, not technically the same mom. So I'm thinking that it's a big no-no burger. But yeah, they kind of have the same mom.
Yeah. And even if the DNA is different, and the reason I say that is because usually if you're talking about different dimensions and stuff, your frequencies are going to be there's going to be a small
like things
difference
are
in frequencies.
Or just inverted in some ways. But yeah.
Ah, that's actually a good segue to what the thing in the minds.
Yeah, I was so wrong, and I'm so happy I was wrong.
Yeah. And they even build on this.
One of the few times I talked to you this week, I'm like, I'm so happy I was wrong.
Yeah. And I like how they build on that because when, right after Clark goes crazy on Jordan, when Lois comes back and she says, don't don't go all doomsday on me.
Right.
That was a great insert right there because that tells you that they wanted you to think that this was doomsday.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually get who it is, and it was such a great reveal.
We get who it is, and it was decidedly not Doomsday. Me am Superman.
Bizarro.
Yeah,
I thought that was
such a great reveal, just to be the bizarre one, and it looked really good too. The whole, just the whole presentation of him. And I did like the little red herring of him being in the who's in the suit. Yeah, in the Doomsday suit, which is lore. John Henry's red kryptonite blasts not working on him. Really kind of raised red flags in my head as he was doing it. It's like, wait a second, this is definitely not Doomsday then. But yeah, and then the way like the paleness and like the crags, I don't know if you remember in Smallville, like because Smallville's the last time I remember anyone doing any kind of Bizarro thing in live action. But in Smallville, it was Clark, and like obviously it was on the Smallville budget, so like his face would like transform to like the crystalline version of Bizarro, and then go back to just Tom Welling's beautiful face. So. It was really great to see like just a fully done up Bizarro, the backwards S at the end of the episode, obviously with the Supes and Lolo title card. It was all backwards, which was really cool.
Yeah, I absolutely love that part. I'm really excited to see the story they play, how long this plays out, and what the connection is, and just everything about it. Because again, we thought it was Doomsday. Mm-hmm. I was so happy to be wrong.
Yep.
And I mean, these writers, from season 1 on to now so far, and again, I know we're only 3 episodes in. They've garnered enough goodwill that we have to trust them
Mhm.
because so far, I mean, very few missteps, and I wouldn't say there's not been a major misstep. And when I say like of here and there, it's more about what I like or what I don't like or what doesn't vibe with me. That doesn't mean it's bad.
Right.
Um, it just means that hey, just didn't vibe with me. Doesn't mean it's
Hmm.
bad, but for the most part, like most of what they've done has vibed strong with me, and them doing Bizarro is because, like you said, I don't know the last time there has been a Bizarro out there, but I'm really excited to see where they go from here.
Same. 100, as the kids might say, or I love this 3000 as far as the storyline goes. But yeah, it's cool. The one disappointing thing, and I mean, it's Friday, so this number might change a little bit, but I think it's pretty much set now. Only 900,000 people watched this episode.
Oh man, and that
Um,
was
so it was 100 or 1,900,000, and then, or I'm sorry, 1.09 million for the pilot or for the premiere, and 1.1 million. So it went up for the second episode, and this one dropped a couple 100,000. So that makes me sad, but
yeah,
it's just really good. There are a lot of great visuals in this episode for something that actually moved the story along quite a lot. The visual of Clark shooting, the heat vision into his hands, the visual of John Henry, Lois when she's going to meet Lucy and like putting on with the leather jacket, and she's like, I feel like a biker. Like that was a great scene because we got to see
yeah.
Lois being really vulnerable. When Sam Jonah Lane was on the
When he was out fishing,
out fishing, it was beautiful. There was a great CGI background that they had there, but um yeah, I thought this was really cool. We got Dr. Faulkner, so she knows about Bizarro. So I'm curious, is this a Lex Luthor thing? Is John Cryer the Lex Luthor on this earth? Because he was the Lex
please
Luthor in
no.
Supergirl, but like they kind of took care of him in the
Yeah,
Crisis crossover. So yeah. Oh, and then Lana and Kyle. Kyle.
Lana running for mayor.
That was great. Like I loved how her confidence was shaken, and then her and Sarah had that great moment where they're like, "Well, let's just be you." And she was doing her live stream in the kitchen, and she's like, "Oh wait, I can't see. I need my glasses." That was the most humanizing moment for someone running for political office ever. They're like, she gathered like 30% of the female vote immediately with that.
Yeah, and I continue to like the story they have with her and
Hmm.
Kyle
Yeah.
and Sarah as a family, even though, and is it Sophie? Is
Yeah,
that their
Sophie was back.
we
So
actually
we
saw her.
saw
We
Sophie.
actually saw
So
her.
we were wondering if they'd just forgotten about her, and like just kind of Judied her from what was it called? The Winslows.
Oh, Family Matters.
Family Matters. Thank you. But yeah, I don't know. I think this was a good episode. I think a 4 is a perfect score for this. I moved the story along, gave us some good visuals, introduced us to Allison Alston, or Ally Alston, as it will, the cult leader. So Lucy is still apparently under her thrall. So we'll see what happens.
To be continued
To
on
be
Tuesday.
continued on February 1st. Man, I hope I get good news on February 1st. I'm not gonna lie. All right, so we thought we were done with this one, um, but
Oh, absolutely.
this is technically in my book. Was season 3, episode 1 of The Mandalorian. So this was Boba Fett chapter 5. I still did not watch chapter 4. I started to
You
by
didn't miss
accident.
anything.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. So this is called The Return of the Mandalorian. And obviously, we're spoiling this one too. Written by Jon Favreau and directed by who I am now giving credit for as the greatest Mandoverse director, Bryce Dallas Howard.
Where the applause?
Oh, sorry.
There we
So yeah, she directed the first episode with Cara Dune. She directed the first episode with Bo-Katan, and now she went and she did this with the Mandalorian. And I mean, come on, this like everything she does feels like Star Wars when she's doing it in the Star Wars universe. And you can't say that for like you cannot at all say that for Robert Rodriguez.
No. And that's been the problem in this series so far of Boba Fett, which this is, you only see episodes like this when they are trying to do what they call a backdoor pilot,
right?
For shows. You don't do a backdoor pilot for a show that's already has 2 successful seasons.
No, the backdoor pilot for all of this was when Boba Fett showed up, and it was a 21 minute episode where they blew up the fucking Razor Crest, and yeah. So we found out what happened to my favorite character in the Mandoverse, the Armorer. She's still kicking it, still being a cultist.
So is Paz Vizsla.
Yeah, and Paz
the heavy
Vizsla,
Mandalorian.
Paz Vizsla learned a valuable lesson. You don't just challenge people for the Darksaber.
We got a lot with the Darksaber.
There was a lot of Darksaber. And I did like how careless he was with it at the one point, and he got the nice burn on his thigh.
Yes.
He's lucky the best car was there, because he totally would have cut his own leg off.
Yeah.
Which actually might have been kind of cool to happen, but, but no. So he had to fly commercial, which was hilarious. He had to turn all of his weapons in. and it was like one of those scenes from like the old Gunslinger movie where he's like, oh, here's this gun and this gun and this gun and these bombs. I like when he the whistling birds, how he dumped him out of the gauntlet there. He's just like took the rope out, but he kept the jetpack on, which I guess his jetpack doesn't have a missile.
That's what I was I said the same thing.
I was like, oh, that doesn't seem to make that doesn't make a lot of sense to me. People of the continuity.
Yeah.
But
we got a nice little homage to Terminator 2 with the Night of 1,000 Tears.
Very true. Very true. I still stand by the fact I could watch the Armorer just forge for an entire episode.
Yeah. I love that character.
Yeah, she's great. And Emily Swallow is a great actress. And like, I love the voice that she uses for this, right? It's this
right.
Did you watch Downton Abbey?
No.
What was her name? The Dowager Duchess or whatever, Professor McGonagall. Like, it's very like aristocratic the way the Armorer talks. But no, it was just the visuals were really, really good. He hurt his thigh, but then he was better all of a sudden. And they didn't really cover that, which was weird.
Well, it was the spray. It was the Bacta spray.
Did they spray it? Did I miss that?
Yeah, it was when he fell down and she told Paz Vizsla, help him.
Oh, I missed that. Okay, so cool. Because normally they don't gloss over things like that. I did like how he wanted to use part of the spear for a present for Grogu. And Armor's like, well, he's with his people now. He's like, yeah, but I miss him. I miss my buddy. He's so cute. So I wonder what it is that he had forged.
Yeah, it looked like at first when you see those little rings, it looks like almost like chainmail of some sort. But then you see how small it is. I don't know. I was trying to figure that out.
Yeah, I'm not 100% sure. I was really hoping it was going to be a helmet. I
think that's what everybody was hoping for.
The or like the breast piece. But I guess think about it though. If it's chainmail and a lightsaber can't cut Beskar.
Yeah.
Here's the other thing that made this Star Wars. He cut that mofo in half.
Dude,
He cut that
he was
dude
vicious.
in, like, never mind, like, losing a limb. He cut that dude in half, and we saw it. Like, there was no,
Yeah.
they pulled back at the very last second, but he had already cut that dude in half, and the table was falling in on itself from where he cut the table in half.
I did not expect that from Disney.
Like,
Star Wars.
Thank you, Bryce Dallas Howard. This is why you are the greatest director in the Mandoverse, because you pay attention to those tiny little details like that. Now, they of course have to go back to Tatooine, because we can't have an episode of the Book of Boba Fett without Tatooine. And he goes back to visit Pili Motto, and she told him she could find him a Razor Crest. And he's like, where is it? And she's like, it's right there. And she pulls out an N1 Starfighter, which I popped my tits off for.
I figured you did.
I love that ship. That is like my fourth favorite ship in all of Star Wars.
Yeah, I mean, again, I recognized it right away. And first of all, for such a backwater planet, Tatooine does get a lot of business travel, travel.
Well, yeah, I mean, I get it. Mos Eisley, it's a scum of hive and villainy.
Yeah. But I did like, and I like that whole scene of them actually building the ship, or, refitting it, or what have you. I thought that was just some of the conversations between the two of them, or when they brought the Jawas in and say, hey, can you get me this? It's like, oh, how did you get that? How did they get that? She's like, you really want to know?
I would say the N1 is a resto mod. So, because they restored it to like what it looked like on the outside for the most part. And then like they modded it out with some really cool modern like gadgets. But did you notice how like when he took off, it was kind of shaky, and then he started flying it was fine, and then it never went back to being shaky? Like, is it just you had to fly it and then you're able to like clean it up and go?
Everything tightened up.
Yeah, after, is that what it was?
A few minutes.
So that was interesting. I liked how the X-Wings came up, and there was the one Karen X-Wing cop, and he's like, we got to take you in. And the other cop's like, I recognize your voice. And it was the guy from Kim's Coffee in the earlier
the one that said, wasn't he with the one? Yeah, he saved him in that on the ice spiders or something.
Yeah.
Wasn't he?
So,
yeah.
And
I love how he I love how he opened it up there when he's like, care to ask a few questions, and he just looks over and he's just like, time to hit the knots.
Well, yeah, he looked over and he's like, I live my life 10 parsecs, or I live my life a quarter mile at a time, and for those 10 parsecs or less, that's the only time I feel alive. And he did tell Peli Motto, you owe me a 10 parsec starfighter. So, and then they went and got shrimp, which I thought was really weird because the fact that Tatooine doesn't have any water. And they raced that dude in land speeder, and I always like when Womp Rats show up on Tatooine. That's always fun when he was flying through Beggar's Canyon. And if you want to play Beggar's Canyon, that is part of the Tatooine board in the Pod Racer game. Just saying, if you wanted to do something and have Beggar's Canyon involved, and there's a point in Beggar's Canyon where the Tusken Raiders are shooting at you in the pod racing game, so that is fun. Jumping back to the armorer when she was asking Paz Vizsla, have you ever taken your helmet off? No. And she asked Den, and he's like, well, you see.
I know he had that pause, like, I could lie about it.
He should have just lied. 100%. He should have just lied to these people. I mean, they're cultists, for Christ's sake. And I like how he still does not trust Bo-Katan.
Oh yeah,
like that was great. And the other thing is they filled in a gigantic plot hole from last year because Bo-Katan was handed the Darksaber by Sabine Wren. She did not win it by the trials of combat. And so
they actually they mentioned
that, and they explained why her reign was cursed and why she no longer had it. And I said thank you. This is
Yes.
this is what we need out of Star Wars. We need more Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah.
Give her a fucking trilogy
Yeah.
right now. Actually, don't even give her a trilogy. Give her 9 fucking movies. Let her do it. Don't let anybody touch Thrawn. Just her. Like, let's go. Johnny Boy can write the script, whatever. But I am the captain of the Bryce Dallas Howard hype train for the Mandalorian and Star Wars right now.
And this is why we've been so disappointed with Boba Fett, is because Favreau has been writing. I don't know if he's written all of these episodes or just a couple.
He's written every one of them. The next episode is co-written by David G. Filoni, who, I think is kind of whatever. But yeah, and I guess Filoni is directing an episode. But let's just say this right now: Robert Rodriguez done with Star Wars. Don't let him near it anymore. Kevin. I can't even say I didn't read that. I didn't watch that episode. But Stephen Green, episode 2, done with Star Wars. You're not allowed to touch it anymore, dude. You had your chance. It sucked. You made Black Chrysanthemum a goddamn joke.
Not to mention, a ninja by getting through everything without being detected.
Yeah. I'm 100% passionate about Star Wars. I think we all know this. And so when Star Wars does something good, it should be celebrated. 100%.
Absolutely. Yes.
Bryce Dallas Howard should be celebrated for understanding Star Wars better than the rest of these jabronis. 100%. Even old Puffy Face himself did a good job. I doubt he was even in the suit, but he did a good job with his lines. So Puffy Face, good job.
And I absolutely love they brought the line back from the first episode.
Yeah.
I can bring you in warm.
Well, and I liked how he was like,
in cold.
I can bring you in warm, or I can bring you in cold. He was like,
that pause.
I don't want to kill you. But here's the thing. So now that he's got the N1 Starfighter, where is he going to put his bounties? I tell you where. He's going to be beheading a lot of bitches Highlander style and bringing them back in bags. Like, here is your head. Now,
sorry, you don't get a choice.
Here's the thing. They were on that big round space station, and he was at the very fancy gala thing, and they're like, sit, Mando, eat with us, dine with us, be rich with us, and fabulous. That should have looked as clean as it did. That was spot on perfect. Most Espa, most Isley should not have the Power Rangers.
No.
Should not look as clean as they are.
Yeah, for all intents and purposes, that was a Halo ring from the game's Halo.
Yeah. So
that's pretty much what that whole
But that was freaking cool as shit.
Which was it was so damn cool.
Cool as shit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed this episode. I've watched it twice. I'm probably gonna watch it a third time. That's how much I liked it. Up until the end when Fennec Shan showed up. And I'm like, oh God, this is the fucking book of Boba Fett. It's not the Mandalorian. I totally forgot.
This is the only episode of Boba Fett that I have actually watched people's reactions to. Because the other ones I couldn't stand watching those more than once.
Yeah. Did I say Paz Vizsla? I meant Tar Vizsla. I'm sorry. Although he does.
Are you talking about
with the duel?
The creator of the Darth saber.
Oh yeah, no, Tar did. Tar made it. Never mind, I was right there.
Yeah, Paz Vizsla is the heavy Mandalorian.
That's right, the heavy Mando, which I have the action figure of. Oh my, he's looking at me right.
Which was interesting.
He's looking at me right behind the armor and the 6-inch and 3 3/4 armor and Bo-Katan and multiple Cara Dunes and multiple Mandos. But yeah, anyway.
What about Grogu?
Dude, I've got a couple tiny little mission Star Wars mission fleet Grogus. I didn't get any of the other Grogus. I don't care about Grogu. So Grogu
you're a violent offender.
Grogu needs to be in a satchel being punched by a scout trooper at all times. The only good Grogu is a being punched in the face Grogu.
You're a sick man. I'll just tell you that.
How dare you?
I don't even know who you are.
I how dared myself. Are you happy? Look, oh yeah, Grogu sucks.
How dare you?
See, I'm happy to do it. So, Grogu needs to be 8 feet tall next time we see him. Not a little tiny thing. He needs to have had a growth spurt and be taller than Din Djarin.
Do you take some forced steroids?
So, yeah, Well, no, it's
the
just
mods.
Yoda was stifled by his detachment from everything, and because Grogu is attached to Din in the little ball from the Razor Crest, he actually is able to grow like his species is supposed to. Oh God, that is just the dumbest fucking thing I've ever said. Anyway,
I wasn't gonna say it. So
no, again, here I'll just.
How dare you?
There we go. I got it again. Yeah, this was really, 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 really good.
and now I'm sad though.
I am sad because this should have been the last episode, to be 100% honest. So we could just go right into the Mandalorian, and but I assume he's going to show up in episode 7.
I think so. Yeah.
There's rumors that there's a legacy character showing up in episode 7. I think the money's on Luke Skywalker. It could be, Han Solo. Although, will it be Harrison Ford? Probably not. Will it be Aiden Ehrenreich? Probably not. So who knows what kind of trickery they're gonna do with CG and face modification like they did with Luke. But hopefully they do it better than what they did with Luke. Yeah, I don't know. This was just a good episode. The flying was fun.
Yeah.
The fighting was fun. The Peli almost getting eaten by that monster in her shop was fun. R4, R4 is like, nah, I'm not motivated to do anything.
Yeah. And, oh, you also had speaking of droid, you had the droid from the Fallen Order.
Oh yeah, you had a little BD. I don't think it was the same one, but
No, it wasn't. It was just
it
it
was
was a
just
BD
another
droid.
BD droid, which I kind of wish he would have gone with Mando. Right?
That would have been cool.
And so the Mando's like, all right, I'll use you because you can float over there and you can shock everybody. Oh, you can hack this for me. Yes. And I can get power up, healing vials and more force power for Grogu. So anyway, it was just a good episode.
I'm sad.
Really good
Yeah,
episode.
I'm just sad that we're gonna most likely go back to the Book of Boba Fett formula that has not worked in the first few episodes, or the first 4 episodes. So
again, when you try to make a kindler, gentler Boba Fett, you are missing the point of the character. And I get it. They want this to be for kids. Star Wars is for kids, 100%. But Star Wars had no problem hacking off arms. None whatsoever.
yes,
Like, if you want Boba Fett to disintegrate somebody, guess what? That's a lot less traumatic than hopping off an arm. You can just tell your kid, oh, he beamed him up. Just lie. The kids are dumb. They don't know the difference. Actually, that's not true. My kid would have been like, what the fuck are you talking about? Beam him up. That's a different IP. And then she'd cut you. But yeah. She would probably, she gets pretty.
I was about to say, you
militant.
said that so proudly.
So
Yeah,
she gets really militant about her fandoms. She's big into like the Maze Runner books, not so much the movies, but she likes the movies because she likes Dylan O'Brien and the kid that played Newt. So anyway, yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is good. What would you give this out of 5 Darksaber wounds to the thigh? What do you give this?
I would give this Darksaber wounds to the thigh. I would give it a 4.5, and I think a quarter of that, or maybe a half point of that, is because I'm not rating it as itself. I would give it at least a 4. Put it that way. But I think when you're looking at what Star Wars needs, or what Star Wars has been lacking, I should say, with the Book of Boba Fett, I give it an extra half nearly severed leg.
Okay.
Because it's everything that we want from Star Wars. We have the continuity, we have the action, we have everything that we get from a visual standpoint, not just the clean stuff, not just the cool stuff, but the dirty stuff. and how we get them, putting the, retrofitting the Starfighter, just all these little things that make for a good story in itself. But again, it's the details, the little things here and there that just make it that much better.
Yeah. No, I get that. Okay, so I was gonna give this episode a 3, because so far I haven't given anything higher than a 2 for this episode, but I did something, and I gave it a 4.25, and I bumped it up 1.25 points because Bryce Dallas Howard is awesome.
Yes, she is.
Like,
she's done a great job.
Yeah, my baseline for this was a 3, and it was good. Like, but it's also like, okay, like this is the best piece of pizza off of the pizza that you dropped on the ground, So, but no, I think Bryce killed it. I want to see more from her. Actually, I would love to just see her direct more stuff. Like, she doesn't have a ton of director's credits to her name, and she needs more. She needs more of that. Do more, Bryce.
I was about to say, she done a hell of a job with Star Wars. That's all I know. So,
well, she directed.
I think she's done a couple Twilight Zones.
Yeah, she directed an episode of Arrested Development. So, oh wait, no, she was just in that episode. Never mind. She's not directed much. So she did a segment for the Call Me Crazy, a 5 film. Oh, okay, never mind. I think is that Tyler Perry film? No, that was a made-for-television anthology. Okay. Anyway, but no, she's awesome, and I want to see more from her. I like her. I've always liked her. So, anyway, cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right.
We need to start a petition. More Bryce Dallas Howard. And
I don't believe in petitions. I think we just need to like actually just talk about it and support her and like share this episode out to people. Like, hey, she's the real deal. Let's give her more work. So,
yep.
All right. If you like us, go give us a 5-star review on anywhere you can give us reviews. Actually, just go to the website. It'll take you everywhere you need to go. Also, if you really like us and you've got $3 a month that you don't know what to do with us, that's the minimum that you could back us on Patreon, and I'll send you a bunch of stickers. I think it's $5, you can actually like give us a topic and we'll do a show about it. And for, I want to say it's like 15 or something, you get, after 3 months, you get a free shirt. So yeah, back us on Patreon. That would be awesome sauce. And, follow us everywhere. Just follow us on Instagram, because that's the only one I'm actively using, to be honest. And I'm going to start doing more and more, and I'm going to start doing some giveaways. And I'm actually getting ready to pare down my toy collection, and I might actually just sell it through the podcasts.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Instagram feed. Like, just put stuff up for sale and sell it there instead of my personal one, because my personal one has gotten dark. Anyway, yeah. Any last words?
No. Did I mention it's snowing here?
It is snowing here, and it's awesome. And I have to text my trainer to see if we have training tomorrow, because if we don't, I'm going to go ski. But
that sounds fun.
Yeah. So, oi dang lota. Go ski.
I miss that show.
I know, I already miss it. I kind of want to start watching it now again.
I think we'll try to watch it after Walking Dead, after we get done with that.
How are you watching that?
I actually like Walking Dead. The first, I watched it through. No, not through. I watched like the first couple episodes of season 7, and that's where I stopped, because it was kind of the same thing. But hey,
I stopped watching when Negan showed up because he was so bad. Bad.
Negan was great.
No,
dude,
he was
crazy.
Jeffrey Dean Morgan was awful.
You were crazy, dude.
Did you ever watch Under the Red Hood, the cartoon movie?
Yes.
Okay. So
a long time ago, but yeah.
John DiMaggio plays the Joker. He was the voice of Bender in Futurama. And he's like, I was more classy, Mater D. You're more motorcycle fetish. And that's all I could think of when I see Jeffrey Dean Morgan with this cute little ascot. He's more motorcycle fetish.
No, that was absolutely Negan. I loved it. I like him better in the Tekken game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he's like that's great. But anyway, yeah. So that's where I'm at. Watching a
Cool.
little bit of Walking Dead.
I've been
Hopefully do a rewatch of The Expanse soon.
yeah, I started rereading The Fountainhead. So I've been doing that at night. Something completely different from nerd stuff.
Now, when you say rereading, are you listening to it or are you actually
No, I'm
reading
actually
it?
reading it on my Kindle because I have the dyslexia file
Okay.
on there. So no, that is
Okay.
one I read and I take notes. I haven't read in about 10 years. So I've been reading it's very heavy. And so I've been reading a couple chapters a night and I'm taking it slow. I'm not speed reading it. So
Okay.
yeah. Anyway, Howard Rourke is a very interesting character. On that note, I am gonna be back this week with a movie review for the new Jason Sudeikis Evangeline Lilly movie that just dropped on iTunes in video on demand, and I cannot remember the name of it to save my life right now. Give me 1 second. But I'm gonna watch that and review it just because Evangeline Lilly is awesome, and I love Jason Sudeikis too. So. Where did it
I
go?
was about to say, isn't that your boy Ted Lasso?
Dude, Jason Sudeikis is my boy just in general. I'm a huge fan of his. And I think like he's the whole reason I watched Ted Lasso. But he's also like been in a bunch of just like he was in a movie called Tumble Down with Rebecca Hall that I really enjoyed.
South of Heaven.
South of
That's
Heaven.
what it's
Thank
called.
you. That's what it's called. I was trying to find it. So yeah, I'm going to be back with a review of South of Heaven and also the Tender Bar this week. I'm going to try and do both of those on different days. So yeah.
Cool.
All right. On that note, thank you all for listening. We were just over an hour. We're going to try and keep it at this length for the foreseeable future. And we will talk to you all later.
See ya.